Wednesday night services at the Apostolic Christian Church found Gary driving from Anthony. Jan, when working late at the hospital in Alva, would meet him at the church on her way home. The church service having concluded, Gary proceeding home, Jan saying she would be following right behind him. Gary arriving in Anthony, deciding to stop at Larry's hometown market to pick up a few things when he heard the wailing of the ambulance siren heading west out of town. And for some reason he had a premonition, a feeling something was wrong. Once home, he turned on the scanner, discovering the ambulance had been dispatched to an accident a mile west of town, the feeling continuing, deciding to drive to the area. Arriving at the scene, immediately recognizing Jan's shadow convertible with a crumpled front end, noticing that the airbags had been deployed, Jan was nowhere to be seen. The ambulance having left the scene for Anthony. Gary hastily driving to the hospital, finding Jan up and about in ER. Very much shaken, but apparently not incurring any major physical damage except the trauma of the airbags deploying. She related that coming downhill off a raise a mile west of town, the car's headlights failed to pick up a herd of cattle that had wandered through a broken fence onto the highway. The Dodge Shadow plowing into the herd with the brakes locked. From the looks of the car and impact, Gary very much thankful someone above was watching over his wife, as the results could have been far worse. Gary questioned the responsibility outcome of the accident. The sheriff's department account stating that there were several reports of cattle being out at this location in the past, but the rancher claiming the fence was intact, and that a reported mountain lion in the area spooked the cattle, causing them to break the fence. Gary coming to the conclusion that events that unfold in one's life have a meaningful purpose, giving one a residual of patience and understanding not always acquired by self, but sometimes its implication were fleeting. The monolithic expanse empty of activity, its progeny having departed, a silence prevailing within the ramparts of 602 North Springfield in Anthony, Kansas. Gary absorbing the solitude. Jan calling once again from Share Medical Center, 60 miles distant, stating she would be working late and in all probability would not be returning home that night. In his solitude, concluding a probability she was experiencing what is commonly referred to as the empty nest syndrome, finding it difficult to endure the saturnine of the once pestering residents, enveloping herself in work to alleviate the acumen of her discernment. But Gary detecting a new assertive vicissitude in his wife's predilection, no longer depositing her payroll check in the couple's joint account at the First National Bank of Anthony, but opening an account in her name only, at the Community Bank in Alva, and a joint account with her sister Gail. Her given rationalization being, to establish a Oklahoma financial validity, giving an explanation, the 60-mile 2-hour round-trip drive was getting burdensome. Proposing a move. Gary was somewhat adverse to the overture, as he clearly adulated living in Anthony, his acquaintances, the lake, its proximity to Wichita and its host of offerings. Reluctantly agreeing that the move would be in his wife's best interest, especially with her added demanding work as assistant administrator in charge of all ancillary patient care services, including OB, being a licensed first assistant surgery nurse, and the ever-present responsibility to attend evening hospital meetings. Gary solemnly knowing the move was inevitable, his driving distance to work would remain the same as Anthony, Alva to Kiowa, both a 30-minute journey, but the return destination would never be the same.